Hello. So I'm going to be reading Magnus in the Sword of Summer, um, chapter 35 today. I'm very excited. I love this series so much, and so I'm very excited to see what happens. But come along with me if you want. If you don't, whatever. Be ready for some bad reading. Okay. Chapter 35. Thou shalt not poop on the head of art. After giving me slightly... I'm still... The chapter title. Okay. After giving me the slightly shriveled apple of my immortality, Sam left me at the docks. Not that she wanted to, she said, but her grandparents were going to murder her, and she didn't want to be any later than that. She made plans to meet the next morning at the public garden. I made the way toward Copley Square. I felt a little self-conscious walking the streets with a glowing broadsword, and I had a conversation with my weapon, because that wasn't crazy at all. Couldn't you do a glamour and turn into something smaller? I asked it. Preferably not a chain, since it's no longer in the 1990s. The sword didn't reply. Duh. But I imagined it was humming at a more interrogative pitch, like, such as what? I don't know. Something pocket size and a pen, maybe. Ha ha. Funny, I see what you did there. You have a better idea? Maybe a coin? Just a thought. The sword shrank in my hand, melting into a rune stone of a gold chain. Oh. A gold chain. It's a gold chain. Okay, so we got a coin, we got a pen, and now we got a gold chain, apparently. The small white stone was with a black symbol. The rune of Frey, I said. I'm not really a jewelry guy, but okay. I fastened the chain around my neck. I discovered the stone was attached magnetically to its bail, so I could easily pull it off the chain. As soon as I did, the stone grew into a sword. If I wanted it back in pendant form, all I had to do was picture that. The sword shrank into a stone, and I could reattach it to the necklace. Cool, I admitted. Perhaps the sword really had heard my request. Perhaps I'd somehow created a glamour by myself. But maybe I was hallucinating wearing a huge sword around my neck. Doubted anyone would look twice at my new medallion. Okay, they'd see it's the symbol, and assume it stood for failure. By the time I reached Copley Square, it was fully dark out. No sign of Blitz or Hearthstone, which made me apprehensive. The library had closed for the night. I wondered if Big Boy expected me to meet him on the roof, but I wasn't about to climb the walls of the library. It had been a long day. Inherji, super warrior strength or not, I was exhausted and shaking from hunger. If Big Boy wanted the apple, he would have to come get it. Otherwise, I'd eat it myself. I sat on the front steps of the library, and the stone swaying underneath me like I was still on Harold's ship. To either side of me, the bronze lady statue reclined on a marble throne. I remembered that one symbolized art and the other science, but to me, they both looked like looked ready for recess. They leaned on their armrest. Metal shawls covered their heads, glancing in my direction. Like, tough week, huh? This was the first time I'd been alone and not in imminent danger since the funeral home. Did it count as being alone if you were staring at your own dead body? My memorial service had probably happened by now. I imagined my coffin being lowered into an icy grave, Uncle Randolph leaning on his cane, frowning resentfully, Uncle Frederick looking baffled and distressed at his mismatched clothes, and Annabeth, I couldn't imagine what she was feeling. She'd rushed to Boston to find me. She learned I was dead. Then she learned I wasn't dead, but she still had to attend my funeral and not tell anyone she'd seen me. I believed she would keep her promise, but our meeting had unsettled me. Some of the things she'd said, I can help you. I know a place where you'll be safe. I pulled the battered flyer from my coat. Missing Magnus Chase, 16 years old. Please call. I studied Annabeth's phone number, committing it to memory. I owed her an explanation, but not yet. I'd already gotten Hearthstone knocked unconscious, Blitzen half petrified, and Sam kicked out of the Valkyries. I couldn't risk dragging anyone else into my problems. According to the Norns, Ferris Wolf could be unleashed 7 days from now. Unless I stopped it from happening, Ragnarok would begin. Surt could consume the 9 worlds in fire. I could never find my mom or get justice for her murder. Despite all that, every time I thought about facing a wolf facing the wolf, Vernus himself, I want you to curl up in my old sleeping bag, stick my fingers in my ears and hum la la la, it's not happening. The shadows swooped over my head. Big Boy the eagle landed on the bronze statue to my left and promptly decorated her head with eagle droppings. Oh, dude. This is... Oh, okay. Dude, I said, are you pooped on art? Did I? Big Boy lifted his tail feathers. Oh, well, I imagine she used it. I see you survived. Your fishing expedition survived, I asked. Yes, actually, you have my apple. I pulled it from my pocket and tossed it over. Big Boy caught it in his left claw and began to eat. Oh, that's the stuff. I'd seen some strange things recently, but an eel eating apple atop of the poopy head and art was definitely in the top 20. So, will you tell me who you are now? I asked. Big Boy burped. I suppose you earned it. I'll confess. I'm not really an eagle. I'm shocked. Shocked, I tell you. He snapped off another chunk of apple. Also, I doubt you'll make many friends among the gods when they learn you've assisted me. Wonderful, I said. I'm ready on Ran and Eager naughty list. Oh, those two aren't properly gods. You are neither Aether nor Veneer. I think they're more giantish. Though, of course, the line between giant and god has always been blurred. Our clans have intermarried so many times over the years. Our clans, meaning the eel grew, shadows folded around him, adding to his size like a snowball gathering mass. His shape resolved into a huge old lounging in the lap of art. He wore iron shod, boots, leather, breeches, and tunic of eagle feathers. Now, it's probably not in a confidence of the Endangered Species Act. His hair was gray, his face weathered with age. On the forearm, he wore a gold bracer encrusted with bloodstones and sort of armband worn by the Thanes of Valhalla. You're a lord, a king, in fact. Big Boy took another bite of the apple. Immediately, his hair darkened and some of his wrinkles faded. You'd guard Loki at your service. I curled my fingers around the sword pendant. Loki, as in Loki. The giant king made a sour face. You had no idea how many times I get that question. Are you the famous Loki? He put famous in air quotes. Oh, I was named Loki before he ever came along. It's a popular name among giants. At any rate, no, Magnus Chase, I'm not related to the famous Loki. I am Midgard Loki, meaning Loki of the Outlands, king of the mountain giants. I've been watching you for years. I get that a lot. Well, you're much more interesting than those dense children of Thor who usually challenge me. You'll make a wonderful enemy. Pressure built in my ear canal. We're enemies now? Oh, there's no need to draw your sword just yet. Nice pendant, though. Someday you'll find ourselves on opposite sides. That can't be helped. But for the present, I'm happy to observe. I hope you'll learn to use the sword without getting yourself killed. That would be amusing. Sart, the old bag of smoke deserves to be humiliated. Well, I'm always happy to amuse you. The giant popped the rest of the apple in his mouth and swallowed it whole. He now looked about 25, with coal-black hair, his handsome angular face free of wrinkles. Speaking of Surt, he said, the Fire Lord will never let you keep the sword. You have probably until morning before he realizes that you found it. His hand dropped from my pendant. My arms felt like wet sandbags. I impaled Surt, cut off his nose, and dropped him in an icy river. That didn't even slow him down. Oh, did it? Right now, he's nothing but a ceaseless, noseless ball of fire raging down in Muspelheim. He'll have to conserve all his power to manifest again on the day of the full moon. When he tries to free the wolf, maybe I shouldn't have been chatting that with a self-declared enemy, but something told me Utgard Loki already knew. The giant nodded. Surt is more anxious than anyone of Ragnarok to start. He knows he'll get to consume the 9 worlds in flames, and that's what he's been waiting for since the dawn of time. Me, I like the way things are. I'm having fun, but fire giants, there's no reason with them. It's all burn, burn, burn. Anyway, the good news is that Surt won't be able to kill you personally until the full moon. He's much too weak. The bad news, he has lots of minions. I hate minions. Surt's not the only one after you. Your former comrades from Valhalla have been searching. They're not pleased that you left without permission. I thought about Captain Gunilla and her bandor of hammers. Oh, I imagined one spitting toward my face. Well, that's just perfect. If I were you, Magnus, I'd get on Midgard by dawn. That should throw your pursuers off your trail, at least temporarily. Leave the earth, simple as that. I knew you were a quick learner. Guard Loki slid off the statue lap. Standing up, he was easily 12 feet tall. We'll meet again, Magnus Chase. Someday you'll need a favor only Utgard Loki can grant. But for now, your friends would like a word. Farewell. Shadows funneled around him. Utgard Loki was gone. In his place stood Blitzen and Hearthstone. Hearth leaped away from me like a startled cat. Blitzen dropped his duffel bag. Heimdall's horns, kid. Where did you come from? Where did I? I've been here for almost an hour. I was talking to a giant. Hearth crept towards me. He poked me in the chest to see if I was real. I have been here for hours, he sighed, waiting for you. We talked to giant. You just appeared. A sick feeling rose in my chest. Maybe we should compare notes? I told them what had happened since we parted ways. Harold's boat, Mr. J, and Bag Lady ran, which would make an awesome name for a rapper duo, in my conversation with Utgard Loki. Oh, not good. Blitzen stroked his beard. He'd dispensed with an anti-sun gear and was now wearing an eggplant purple three-piece suit with a mauve dress shirt and a green carnation in the label. The giant told us some of the same things, but the giant did not tell us his own name. Hearth sighed. Surprise! I wonder how you sign that. That's really cool. Opening his pitched finger on either side of his eyes, which is the context I took to mean yikes. Guard Loki. He spelled out the name, most powerful sorcerer in Jotunheim. He can make any illusion. We were lucky, Blitz said. Utgard Loki could have tricked us into seeing or doing anything. He could have made us walk off the roof, accidentally killing each other, or even eat steak. In fact, Blitz narrowed his eyes. He could still be in an illusion. Any of us might be giants. Blitz punched Hearthstone in the arm. Ouch! Hearth sighed. He stepped on the door's toes. Oh, maybe not, Blitzen decided. Still, this is very bad. Magnus, you've given an apple of immortality to a giant king. And what does that mean exactly? Blitz fiddled with his carnation. To be honest, I'm not sure. I've never understood how those apples work. I imagine it will make Utgard Loki stronger as well as younger. And make no mistake, when Ragnarok comes, he won't be on our side. Hearthstone sighed. Wish I'd known it was Utgard Loki. I could have asked about magic. Blitzen said. You know plenty. Besides, you can't trust a giant to give you straight answers. Right now, you two need sleep. Elves can't stay awake very long without sunlight. And Magnus looks like he is going to fall over. Blitz was right. I was starting to see double Blitzens and double Hearthstones. I didn't think it had anything to do with illusions. We made camp in the library doorway, just like old times, except with better supplies. Blitz pulled 3 down sleeping bags on his duffel, along with a fresh change of clothes for me and more sandwiches, which I ate too fast to taste. Hearth collapsed in his bag and immediately began snoring. Rest, Blitz told me. I'll keep watch. Tomorrow we visit my kin. The dwarf world? His thoughts were getting busy. Your home? My home. Blitzen sounded uneasy. Some of the research at Hearth and I did today. It's looking like we'll need more information about the rope that bound Furnace. We can only get that at Nividir. He focused on the chain around my neck. Can I see it? A sword? I pulled out the pendant and set the sword between us. It's like baking its face glitter like a vein of copper in the dark. Breathtaking, he murmured. Bone steel, or something even more exotic. Bone steel. TJ in Valhalla mentioned that. Blitz didn't touch the blade, but he passed his hands over it reverently. To make steel, iron is melted with carbon. Most swordsmiths use coal, but you can also use bones, the bones of enemies or monsters or ancestors. Oh, I stared at the blade, wondering if my great-great-grandparents might be in there somewhere. Forged correctly, but said bone steel can cut down supernatural creatures, even giants and gods. Of course you have the quench the blade in blood and harden it, preferably the blood of whatever type of creature you want the sword to be most lethal against. Sandwiches weren't sitting so well in my stomach. This blade was made like that. I don't know, Blitz admitted. The sword of Frey is veneer work, which is a mystery to me. It might be closer to Hearth's elf magic. My spirit sank. I had this idea that dwarves were good with weapon crafting. In the back of my mind, I'd been hoping Blitzen could tell me something about the blade's secret. I glanced at Hearth, still snoring peacefully. You said Hearth knew a lot of magic. I'm not criticizing. I've never seen him cast any, well, except maybe opening one door. What else can he do? Blitz set his hand protectively against Hearth's feet. Magic drains him. He's careful about using it, and also his family. He took a deep breath. Modern elves don't approve of magic. His parents shamed Hearthstone pretty badly. It still makes him self-conscious about casting magic in front of others. Hearthstone wasn't the son his parents wanted. Between the magic and the, let's tapped his own earlobes. I felt like saying something rude about Hearthstone's hermits in sign language. It's not his fault he was deaf. Elves, Wilson shrugged. They have a low tolerance for anything that isn't perfect. Music, art, appearances, their own children. I wanted to protest how messed up that was. Then I thought about humans, and I decided we weren't much better. Get some sleep, kid. Let's urged. Big day tomorrow. I keep Furnace wolf bound. We're going to need help from a certain dwarf. And that help isn't going to come cheap. We'll need your full strength when we jump to Nividir. Jump, I said. What do you mean jump? He gave me a worried look, as if I might be another funeral very soon. In the morning, you're going to try climbing the world tree.